Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SEMO TV. I'm your host, SEMO, and today we're going to get into a very sensitive topic for me and many people on the right, which is the death of Charlie Kirk and his widow, Erica Kirk. And honestly, the video is really more about Erica Kirk, but to get to the Erica Kirk part, I first need to talk about Charlie. As you can see behind me, Turning Point, I was actually at the event at State Farm Arena here in Arizona. It was a big deal to me. It was actually the whole thing was a big deal to me, and on so many levels. First of all, I was never like a giant Charlie Kirk fan. I don't think I even followed him on social media, to be honest with you, at this point. I'd seen his videos. I always appreciated where he was coming from. I always thought it was like low hanging fruit to kind of debate college kids, but at the same time, they needed that. And for a man to go around and talk with the people that disagreed with him the most and to give them an open mic to air their grievances with him, that's the most patriotic thing you can do. It's the most American that we have. And to see the reaction of people on the left after he died was so horrific that it changed me in ways that I'll never go back. And I got to tell you, anybody on the left who has anything negative to say about Charlie, not only do you lose all credibility from me, but it shows just how ignorant you are. Because, first of all, I know that you don't know what you're talking about. I know for a fact that you've never seen anything he said in real context. Because if you had, you'd never say anything like that. If you did, you couldn't actually come to the conclusions that so many people seem to come to with. You are just parroting other people. It's like an echo chamber where you heard one person say it and then you think it's okay for everybody to say it like it's a true fact. Oh, I heard Harry Sisson say something, and so I'm going to just say those same things. Like, I trust that person knows what they're talking about, so I'm going to just ride those coattails. Wow. This is like, talk about feckless. Folks, not only is a man dead, but that man was an honorable man. Honorable. As honorable as it gets. I don't care who you are or where you come from or what you're about. That's a true American person, a great person, no matter what color, creed, whatever. But seeing those reactions was certainly off-putting, to say the least. Watching the way the left reacted and people I knew reacted put me in a different place. No question. I was very disappointed, and I felt like I had to fight a new fight. In fact, there probably wouldn't even be this channel had that not happened. At the time, I was seeing a young lady, and it was probably one of the most serious, as close to a serious relationship I'd ever gotten into. You know, we were days before he was killed. We were actually together talking about getting married, starting a family, which was a huge conversation for me. Never had that before. And she was out here visiting. And on the way to driving her to the airport is when I heard about Charlie Kirk. And I mean, we were like in bliss. Like, I was blissful. I was so happy before this news happened. And we're like 10 minutes from the airport. And I get this news on my phone, and I just was like, "Oh my God, no! This is so bad for so many reasons." She's like, "What happened?" And I told her, and she's like, "Who's that?" And I said, "Yeah, this is like this right wing commentator who kind of goes around to schools and talks with people that don't agree with him." And she's like she's a liberal. And I didn't really think there was that big of a problem there. But, she's like a Reddit type person. And by the time she was kind of back within the next day or two, she was like, he really didn't have some great things to say. And I was like, hey, that's not cool. But, I said, why don't you go get a little more context? Maybe we can talk about it. I said, but what I noticed online was people saying, a lot of people thought it was a rightful martyr. But some people would say toe the line where they'd say, well, nobody deserves to die, but no. You throw a but in there, we got problems. And I call people out all the time on that but thing. Like, no, there's no buts. There's no buts. So anyway, so it shifted things in that relationship for sure. Um, anyway, yeah, I'm still quite affected by the death of Charlie Kirk, as you can tell. But now Erica Kirk. This is where I wanted to kind of make this video. At the time, I was still very much I saw her as a grieving widow. I thought that she was very eloquent at State Farm Arena. I thought that the poise was incredible. I thought she seemed like she had a lot to give to the community. In fact, speaking of community, I'm actually friends with one of the pastors at her church, at Charlie's church. And, I offered to volunteer for the event and things like that. I went to the event. I didn't volunteer there. And, in fact, my birthday was not too long after that event. And I went to his favorite restaurant for my birthday, and Erica was in the same little room that I was in on my birthday. No, there was no exchange or anything. The only weird thing was that when she left, she put on sunglasses. This was like at night. I thought that was strange. Like, I didn't even recognize her. Somebody at my table did. So anyway, thought that was, but again, she was at Charlie's favorite restaurant. So I was like, oh, that's sweet, But here's what I want to talk about. At the memorial, at the event, Erica, a lot of people spoke. A lot of people from TPUSA spoke. And I found a lot of it to be very endearing and very like from the heart. And some people not so much. Maybe I thought maybe they weren't great speakers, but I've got like a rhythmic, a way to kind of like a frequency finder, like a sense of truth and honesty and authenticity. And I didn't find that with all the people speaking. And I thought that at the time. But I also thought, hey, this is like a sensitive topic. You can't really go, judging in this particular scenario. And when Erica got up, there were these fireworks, these big sparklers or whatever. And I thought that was a little over the line. But again, it's an event. It's it was almost like a giant church event that day. Great music, great Christian music from like all around the country. Not a huge Christian, musical guy, but I go to church every Sunday, and just not one of those guys that put their hands up, but I'm there. Love Jesus. And I don't go to Charlie's church. I go to another church. But when Erica got up, I have to tell you this. My heart was ready. I was ready to bawl. I was ready to let it go. I didn't care about, standing around a bunch of strangers. I was ready to, release all these emotions I had felt. And I thought Erica was going to get that out of me. And when she forgave Tyler Robinson, I did not open the floodgates. I wasn't feeling it. I thought it was inauthentic. First of all, you're innocent until you're proven guilty, first and foremost, as an American. Secondly, a 30-6 doesn't do what happened to Charlie. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to talk about all the other things that don't add up. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to say 30-6. That's all you got to think about for me. It's the only thing. One truth can crumble a mountain of lies. But the eyes don't lie, do they? And so there was that. And when she forgave him, which I thought was a beautiful gesture, it just didn't resonate with me. And at the time, I let it fly. I let it slip. I didn't, I was like, all right, didn't think much of it. But as time goes on, you start seeing the things from Candace. You start seeing the people hating on Candace, and you go, maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's not. But as time has passed, I definitely question the narrative and the motives and TPUSA and the money. About 8 days before Charlie's passing, he had brought in a new person that was basically going to audit the nonprofit. Which, if you're funneling money into different places where people are profiting, it's not a nonprofit, and that's a big no-no. So yeah, I think there was some definite, definitely worth looking into. The life insurance policy, I don't think is worth looking into. I think that's all above board, personally. But man, I just didn't feel it in my heart there and then in person. The other thing I thought that was strange was the way Donald Trump talked about the same thing. He said something like, "I don't think I don't think I was as good as Charlie was, or I don't think I could have done. I don't think I could forgive people." And then he said some other things like, "I don't think I'm going to heaven." Trump is a very real person. Like, I mean this. I don't care if you don't like him. He can't help himself but spew out what he's really thinking. Always tweeting, whatever. He's gonna say what he's thinking. And I think he might have felt some guilt about how that all went down. Just my opinion. What do you guys think about that? And so really, I just again, the eyes don't lie, and I got to tell you, I'm not trusting what I'm seeing there. So take it for what it is. I'm a person that was there. I can tell you, and you can see here, I carried that thing all the way back to my car, which I couldn't find for like an hour and a half after that event, which was horrible because I was wearing this exact jacket in the heat. It was a nightmare, and my phone was dead by this point. By the way, the phones, like, there was like no service in there. It was very strange how my phone just was bleeding battery life no matter what I did. Very strange. Anyhow, yes, I'm questioning things, and I'm questioning Erica Kirk. Okay, so take it from your boy Simo. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Appreciate y'all watching. Hope you guys are doing well wherever it is you are, whatever it is you're doing, and we'll see you on the next one.